If you're new here, welcome in, and if you know me, welcome back. And today, I'm here to talk about one of my least favorite game mechanics of all time. And it's a game mechanic that I think really made NBA Live fall behind NBA 2K. Now, for those of you that don't know, NBA Live and NBA 2K used to be on equal footing way back in the day. NBA Live, ESPN, NBA 2K5. At that time, they were about even, and while the games were played so different, it was still good competition, and you could play both games without missing out on anything. Now, a key thing that both of these games tried to fix was the implementation of individuality. As you all know, not every basketball player plays the same. They have different moves, and certain players can do certain abilities and other players can't. And both of these games tried to separate themselves by installing something to help with that individuality. Now, NBA 2K went the animation route. They went with the shot stick, and they went with adding signature jump shots in NBA 2K7 to where a lot of NBA players had different jump shot forms and timing. NBA Live and NBA Live 06, they introduced something called Freestyle Superstars. Now, Freestyle Superstars was a game mechanic that was supposed to separate players by their abilities or give players certain categories for their abilities. Now, in NBA Live 2007, the Freestyle Superstar types were high flyer, outside scorer, inside scorer, power, shooter, playmaker, inside stopper, and outside stopper. Now, in the Xbox 360 version, apparently, there were only high flyer, playmaker, shooter, scorer, and post. And as you can see, there are different tiers here. I think this is bronze, silver, and gold. As you can see here, Tim Duncan is a silver post player. Meanwhile, if we go over to Kevin Garnett, he's a silver high flyer, bronze playmaker, and a gold post player. Now, in the older generation Xbox version, there were 2 different levels and not 3 like in the Xbox 360. And the way it goes there is that the higher level that you have, the more moves and animations that you have at your disposal. Now, in my Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan secret base video, I talked about this topic briefly, but I want to go a little bit more in depth into what it is and why I despise it so much. So I'm going to use Tracy McGrady as this example real quick. And now, I don't have the NBA Live 07 controls memorized, so I think the more I talk, the more it's going to come back to me. Now, the idea is the fact that while you're in a game, if you look to the bottom left here, I have the high flyer icon on, and that gives me access to certain dunks. So first here, I'm going to do a regular dunk, which is just right trigger and X, but then I'm going to add the Freestyle Superstar modifier that also compounds with my high flyer modifier in the bottom left of the screen. So as you see here, it's more of a fancy dunk. It's like a double pump dunk, and that is part of the high flyer animations. In addition to this, I can use the left bumper and the right thumbstick to unlock even more high flying dunks and animations. Now, as you can see here, you have level 1 and then level 2 and then level 3, which unlocked certain amounts of high flying dunks that you can do. And as you can see here, depending on how you use the left bumper and the right thumbstick, really changed what kind of dunk you can do. Now, this is really cool because it assigns a specific dunk to a specific input on the right thumbstick. It's very cool in practice. As you can see here with Tracy McGrady, I can do like more fancier dunks here now that I'm adding the modifier and I'm adding whatnot. Now, as you can see here, Tracy McGrady is a gold high flyer, silver playmaker, gold shooter, gold scorer. Yeah, he's pretty good. So the gold high flyer allows me to have access to all these fancier different dunks, like this 360 right there. Let me see if I can try to do it again as well. There it is. Yep. It's the same input every time. I think that this was a positive of the Freestyle Superstar types. I don't want to be completely negative with this because I know that EA was trying something new. They're trying to separate themselves as a basketball game. And I like the way that this worked in NBA Live 2006. But I think that it worked in NBA Live 2006 because it was simple. Now, in NBA Live 06, Yeah, there were players that had multiple freestyle superstar types on the offensive end, but you were only able to activate one at a time, right? So if you had Tim Duncan, he was an inside scorer or a post player, power player, you had to choose one in the settings and you couldn't switch back and forth during the game or between games or whatnot. And while NBA Live 06 was acknowledging that there are certain players that had multiple freestyle types and freestyle capabilities, they also realized that trying to do everything at once and introducing something that had everything at its disposal was probably not the best idea. So I don't hate the fact that you had to go into the menu and be like, Tim Duncan is a power player this game. I don't mind that. And the reason why I don't mind that is the way that they implemented a fix to this, or a proposed fix to this, in NBA Live 07. Now in NBA Live 07, you were allowed to switch freestyle superstar types on the fly. Now there isn't really a better player to do this with than Tracy McGrady. So as you can see here, if we look at the bottom left, we have the high flyer, but as soon as I do left bumper, right bumper, I go to playmaker. So that means that I'm able to make flashier passes. This modifier being added. And then if I do it again, inside scorer. So if I go here, I have inside scorer stuff added, and it's different specific layups and different specific jump shots, all that. Now, as you can see here in NBA Live 07 for the Xbox 360, it was not outside scorer and inside scorer. It was just combined into just scorer. So as you can see here, power layup, finger roll, off balance runner, double clutch layup. And while these animations to you might not look like they're that special, back then, this was a big deal. Having a player be able to pull off a finger roll in a game was an action given to those special players. Now, as you can see here, you have the 360 layup, you have the double clutch finger roll, baseline reverse, and you have all of these inputs that only a certain amount or certain number of players were able to do in the game. So here, that's a move that only a certain number of players can do in this game. Now, if you can compare it to like 2Ks of now, a lot of players are able to have this animation at their disposal, but back then it was kind of special. Now, the shooter one was kind of underwhelming at points where, yes, you could either do a jump shot or a set shot or your hold follow through or whatnot. And then the higher levels you had, you could do like a quick release or a fake overhead pass shot. I never really used this one that often. It's hard to tell the animations apart sometimes. Yeah, that's more of a set shot than Tracy McGrady would, because Tracy McGrady's normal jump shot looks like that. But if Tracy McGrady uses the 3-point, yeah, that's a completely different animation. So I think it's a good idea, but I just don't know how many NBA players like alter their jump shots like this in a certain way. I don't know. I'm not completely sure. But yeah, so that was a specific shooter animation as well. Throws off your jump shot timing as well, to be completely honest here. It's a cool thing in practice. It's just a lot of hassle. And I remember the Xbox one being a little bit more seamless. Yep, that's more of the set shot or the quick release one. And that was the pump fake release one. So you can see that there's different things you could do with this one. It looks a little bit clunky, but again, this was NBA Live on the Xbox 360, which is one of my least favorite NBA Live titles, like by far. Now I'm going to give an example of why I don't think this game mechanic works that much in practice. And to get the most out of this, we're going to do Western All-Stars versus Eastern All-Stars. So as you can see here, I have Steve Nash bringing the ball, and you can see the freestyle icons are in the bottom right. Now, Steve Nash has shooter, scorer, and playmaker. But if I want to do playmaker, I have to switch all the way over and do multiple things here to get to what I want to do. But as a game, in terms of basketball, the game moves a little bit too quick for this to be really used well in practice. This kind of makes the gameplay clunky because now let's say on a fast break, I want Tracy McGrady to do like a high flying dunk. I have to like assume I remember what mode I put Tracy McGrady in during the fast break. And I think it just adds a couple of just so many extra steps that NBA Live 06 didn't have, because NBA Live 06, there was only one thing you had to think about because each player was only assigned one thing, right? So now with Steve Nash, I have to remember that he's doing flashy passer mode right here. And then we have Kobe Bryant. I got to put it in scorer mode if I want to. And again, that's like, still, even with that, it took a while to like seamlessly get to score because there are so many different modes that they can have. It's like, as I said in the secret base video, it's like Avatar, but you could only use one element at a time and like switch to one element at a time. But like, Aang in Avatar, he makes all the bending look so seamless together, and especially Korra as well. But here, I have to set what element that I want my player to do, right? So with Kobe, again, I want to do a flashy pass, I have to like do the setting, and by that time the pass I'm lucky that the pass is still there. But again, basketball is like a quick read and react type of sport, so having me have to overthink about what my freestyle superstar mode is mid game kind of defeats the purpose of like what makes this fun. So now let's see, I have Tracy McGrady. I want to go high flyer, but I know that I'm probably going to just go score it. But the thing is, I still had to have that 2-3 second pause. And now I get past the Kobe Bryant, and I forget that Kobe Bryant's on passing mode. So this just really complicates a lot of things. But that's my thing. It's like with all these players, you have to keep track of what freestyle superstar you had to set them to. It discourages switching so much between games or between possessions. It discourages switching so much because it's just such a hassle having to switch between different freestyle superstar modes. And that kind of stinks, because like if I want to do a freestyle superstar mode but I get the pass immediately to Steve Nash, and Steve Nash is in playmaker mode but he gets a wide open pass, I'm not going to spend the extra time switching to shooter mode just so I can show off the freestyle superstar animations. Like it's not feasible for what I want to do. So again, I have Kobe, but it's like, what do I want to do? Do I want to be a scorer? Do I want to be a high flyer? But that's the thing. It's like basketball players don't really have to think about if they want to be a scorer or a high flyer in like the form of like a menu. They just read and react. They do what's instinctive to them, if that makes sense, right? And that right there is my main problem with the freestyle superstar mode in NBA Live 07. If you want me to cover more game mechanics, feel free to comment about game mechanics in the comments below, and I will make videos on them. Thank you guys so much for watching to the end of the video. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for following. If you're not subscribed, please do so. It really helps the channel out. And I love doing this. I love making these videos for y'all. And I'll see you guys later. Have a good one, y'all. Bye.